Cats are going 24-0 in Big Ten play.
Excited to see maybe an offensive explosion this weekend.
This Northwestern team is really, really fun to watch.
With a new episode every week, we have the best coverage of Northwestern football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball. Come for the analysis, stay for the banter. It's WNUR Sports Podcasts.
Yeah, I think it might be a fact. I feel
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go fact.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's actually fiction.
Wow.
The reason it took me so long to get this sentence out was because I was actively thinking of other states that I knew. It's actually North Dakota has the most golf courses per capita
Yeah,
out of any state.
I guess there's not
I
really
would have
much.
thought it was like Florida. Or
There's
something.
not really much going on.
Yeah, that's what
no,
I'm
that's-
thinking.
Yeah, I
they
never
got-
hear about North
They just
Dakota.
have.
I actually don't know a single person at this school who's from a Dakota.
I do. I know
Really?
one person.
South?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, my fact or fiction. All right. So, actually, okay, it's gone. It's gone from my. Okay, I found it. Just kidding. Okay, so fact or fiction. Only 3 World Cups have been won by a host country.
Oh my god. I feel like I should know this. You know, I'm kind of a soccer guy. a little
3
bit.
World Cups,
Won by the host nation.
won by the host nation.
That hasn't
I
happened.
feel like Argentina's won one. I'm trying to go through them.
Well,
He
they
said every World
they've-
Cup ever.
I'm
well,
trying to.
they've won one, but the question is, have they won it at home?
I think it's Argentina, bro. Probably.
I don't know, but they haven't hosted that many. Like this is like the 40s, 50s.
Oh,
type
you're
stuff.
right.
I don't know.
Is it one of those that might be less? Maybe it's like a host team has never won the World Cup.
I don't know, because I feel like like recently that has not happened. Obviously, Qatar
No.
recently, then Russia did not win.
Qatar.
Brazil did not win in their time. South.
So what are we
Africa
saying?
did not win.
So what are we saying?
But it
Fiction?
might. I don't know. I'm gonna go fact. I don't think this is true, but I think I'm gonna go fact just because the fact that I don't
If you
know.
don't think it's true, why are you saying
no,
fact?
because I think that like
Ugh.
I feel like
Okay.
I don't know the same logic as the last one. I think.
I think I'm gonna go fiction.
Okay. Ooh, split.
It is indeed fiction.
Fair enough.
6.
6. Oh, so more.
Oh, okay. We were both thinking it was less. I thought it was less. Okay.
So I did trick you. But you know what? That's okay. Pearson, you're no longer undefeated. in
I
fact
am
or
no longer
fiction.
undefeated.
Oh,
Clearly.
dang it. Okay. So for our first segment today, we're gonna jump right in. Super excited. We will be talking about softball because you guys know that I love softball. So yes, good. You should. So what's great is we are going to be talking about the World Series because it kicked off recently. Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, UCLA, Oregon, all fighting for the title. We've already seen a couple teams go home, including Ole Miss and Florida, and just recently UCLA today, which I was kind of happy about. Spoiler alert. But I just wanted to have you guys chat about your thoughts about it so far, any like exciting things that happened, anything you want to touch on. Maybe see if Oklahoma would 5-peat. What do you think?
I don't think Oklahoma's gonna 5-peat, unfortunately.
Okay.
I think the dark horse in this is Texas Tech.
I agree with that. Actually. I agree with
think-
that. Actually.
Yes.
I think
Okay.
Texas Tech is a dark horse pick to win this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean with Nigeria Kennedy, I mean she's won 2 or not 1, but she's 2 straight All-American selections. Yes to the 12 seed, but I feel like if any team, I mean obviously if any team because it's really just Oregon or Texas Tech who will stop Oklahoma on that side of the bracket. I mean
Please let it be Oregon.
convincing win against UCLA to send them to the losers bracket, and then I think there's other stuff we might talk about later with UCLA, but I don't know. I think that what it really depends, honestly, is how much momentum they get out of this Oregon game. I mean, sorry, Brielle, but I think it's more likely than not that Oregon
Yeah.
makes it to that game against Texas Tech in that side of the bracket. And I don't know. I mean, I think that if it's a close, tight game with Oregon, which of course, just respect to Oregon for even getting there as a 16 seed. But I don't know. I think right now they're down 3-1. Yeah, so I think if it becomes a blowout, then that's a lot of momentum going into Texas Tech, and
This is true.
Texas Tech only won 3-1 against UCLA. So I think that if any team's going to stop them, it's going to be Texas Tech. I think if Oklahoma makes the actual World Series finals, I think that they will honestly might go on and actually do it. So I don't know.
Oklahoma.
Some silence
No
there.
doubt.
Some silence there.
I'm trying to lock in. Okay, Oklahoma is up 3-1
Yep.
in the top.
Pearson
of
did
fourth.
mention that.
Okay. I'd like to believe that Oregon comes back to win it
I would like to believe that as well.
Brielle would
because of the
I
fact
would definitely like
because
to
of the
believe-
fact that we've seen some insane stuff in this World Series already. It was the one day that we had like 2 walk-offs in the same day.
Mm.
Wasn't that day 1?
I think so. Yeah.
Day 1 of the World Series.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that could happen. And you never see that a 16 upsetting a 2 in the World Series just never happens. It's so unheard of. But in the year 2025, I think it's time
Anything
for
can
Oregon. I think it's time for Oklahoma to go home. I'm kind of tired of seeing them in the World Series every
You
single
know
year.
what? I was gonna say the same thing. And I think I agree with you guys a lot with Texas Tech. Like they had 2 shutouts to start, which is crazy and just amazing.
Granted, it was against Ole Miss. No offense to Ole Miss, but they weren't seeded, right?
It doesn't matter. it, but and also like I remember in the Texas Tech game against UCLA, I forget who it was, but one of the runners stole home. Crazy moment. You don't really see that in softball or baseball, granted, but like it was
No
cool.
Mongo, Javi Baez type stuff.
Oh my God! Stop it!
Stop.
He doesn't play for the Cubs anymore.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He's a Cubs legend. Don't disrespect.
He wants to. You want to relive those glory days of the Cubs?
Hey,
10
it might be
years
coming
ago?
right now. Listen, the Cubs beat the Dodgers 16-0.
Hey,
I
hey,
can't-
hey,
okay.
let's leave it for sports
Okay.
voice.
I
guys.
can't wait. I can't wait to see the Cubs lose in the wild card round. That's all I'm gonna say.
Ay.
Ugh,
Fighting words.
fighting words.
Anyway, it's about softball.
Yes,
Baseball.
thank you. And
Yeah.
I want to actually kind of touch on a interesting call that actually happened today. Kind of fell into our laps for a good topic. But in the game again UCLA against the Lady Volunteers, super I love their name so much. A wonderful in the top of the 7th, UCLA hit a walk-off or not a walk-off, a game-tying grand slam. And as the hitter was trotting around the bases, she ends up missing home plate completely and was assisted to touch home plate by her teammates. As most people know, you have to touch all the bases for a home run to count. And so they ended up reviewing it and they were like, "Oh yeah, like actually this is an unreviewable play, but she didn't touch the plate, but it's still going to count." What do you guys think about that?
That's so dumb.
I wanted to say, I was like, as I was researching like this segment, that's like the first thing that came
Mhm.
up.
It's so
And
recent. It happened like an hour or
Yeah,
two
like
ago.
I was like even looking at it just now, it was like 3 hours ago. And they had said that like it was just wasn't something they could
Mhm.
like review. Like they just
Appendix
couldn't.
G.
Yeah, it was like no video replay allowed. Which I feel like, especially in the way that sports is now, where I feel like it's taken so highly, like there's betting, there's like all this stuff that's like more than the world of sports, where I do think that we're in like a time where yes, rules are rules, but I would not have been like, what are they doing? If they would have been like, okay, like maybe we should like bend Appendix G and like
Yeah.
show the video replay
I
of
mean,
this if it's obvious.
I think so. I mean, for me, to be honest, like when it's something like that, where I think if obviously like a lot of home runs when they've been discounted, it's because they miss like second or something.
Yeah.
Versus
Mhm.
missing home. I feel like missing home is pretty rare unless like they're celebrating
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. I mean, I think I didn't mind that it was just called the way it was because it was a grand slam. It was to tie. It was like a
Mhm.
very hype moment in terms of just what happened. So like, I feel like while yes, they kind of got shafted a little bit by not getting the obvious call that she was assisted, she was helped. Which also I think, on that note, I feel like also instead of like physically assisting, could just point. I don't know, like, like. Well,
Fair.
like no, but like genuinely, like I feel like they probably know this rule. Like I feel like the
Yeah.
assisted base
Yeah.
running
I mean,
thing
like
is.
I don't think she missed the base on purpose.
Well, of course not.
obviously.
But like once obviously her teammates realized that she did,
Mhm.
or whoever it was first realizing it, so it's like just tell her. Then you don't even have to worry about appendix
Yeah.
G. Then you don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
Mhm.
Other thing though, I mean, I think it is interesting about like the sports betting stuff and like the gravity
Yeah.
of sports. The other consideration though is like making more things reviewable is kind of
Mhm.
like the time part of it, right? Like
Yeah.
a big part of both what the NCAA has been doing, a lot of like professional leagues as well, like the NBA, MLB, trying to limit reviews. I know the NCAA has also tried to limit that as much as possible. So I think it's also like, yes, it probably would make sense that that would be something that is reviewable. But I guess if they're thinking about time, like something like a missed base is so rare that I don't know. I don't want to say that it's not worth reviewing, but I
Mhm.
also feel like the time part is important.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, it didn't really affect the game, right? Because UCLA ended up losing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No,
Gold.
I'm gonna push back on that, saying it's not worth reviewing because those heads up plays are like huge momentum swingers. Like I'm coming from the perspective of a player. Like as if
Was it?
somebody hit a okay, I'm gonna give you the quick backstory. Playing sports all my life, every time I was on the mound, and if I'd give up a home run, luckily I only gave up like 3 in my lifetime. But every time I gave up a home run,
Didn't know you were a pitcher.
I mean, yeah, I was like
Okay.
I was a 2A in high
There you
school.
go, there you go.
I was a 2A in high school. But
Shohei.
um, every time
There
I'd
we
give up
go.
a home run, I kid you not, I'd watch this guy touch every single one of these bases. And I remember one time he missed second base, and I was like, "Yo, like, can I appeal that? I know it's like dead ball rules, blah blah blah." I think this was my senior year, senior summer. He was like, "Yeah," and we appealed it, and we got the call, and we ended up taking the lead in the bottom half of the inning. But what I'm trying to say is like
But I feel like this is
those
different though.
those are huge momentum swingers, and like it doesn't matter. Like if you're a team that catches on to that, you should be rewarded for being attentive, being heads up, and you should
But it
get the
wasn't.
out
It
call.
wasn't that she missed the base. It was that she was helped to touch it, right?
Yeah,
So I
it
feel like she
doesn't.
still
Yes,
touched
it doesn't
though.
matter.
Yeah, but like kind of
It's
But
put
the
the
you
hand on it.
can't.
fact-
She missed
But you
it.
can't
Yeah.
get. But
Because
you
if she didn't miss it, then she wouldn't have been assisted.
you can't make that type of contact with your teammates until after you touch all the
Yeah.
And
bases.
also, it is the World Series. It's to go to the semifinals and like the losers bracket, So it is like a pretty big like I feel like maybe it would even be different if it was just like a regular conference game
But at this
or like
level,
non-conference game, but just like at the World Series, like with so much on the line, I can see both of yours.
But this is also a bottle lie, right? I mean, Tennessee won anyway, so
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yes.
So-
In
And-
all actuality, it didn't really matter, but if like it could have,
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yes, but
could have
if it goes the complete opposite way, then it's like
Mhm.
Of course.
then
No,
what?
yeah.
Because if you're that heads up to see that, I don't know who would see that, the third baseman, maybe the pitcher, but like if you see that as a team, you should be rewarded for that.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. Let's move on to the next segment. We have some brand new collabs in the world of sports. 3-time MVP Asia Wilson joins the Nike X logo 2-year collab deal with the aim Lego. Lego, sorry you guys. With the aim to inspire kids everywhere to play both on and off the court. The companies are also releasing product collections. I was under the assumption it was just like clothes with like the Lego like little logo, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
actually,
it's a set.
yeah, it's actually sets
It's
of Legos,
cool.
which is actually crazy.
And we included a picture.
Yes, we did. For those of you guys who actually have the rundown, I will not be flipping my computer, so sorry.
Wait, I'll pull up.
But this does include a Nike Dunk sneaker, a brick basketball, and the Dunk slogan. So I just wanted to kind of bring this up. What are your guys' opinions on the strategic move of arguably a boy-centered toy? I know we were kind of talking about how Lego has kind of branched out where it's like Lego Friends, Lego
It looks
Creator,
like that.
but the idea of associating this like dominant MVP woman's leader in sports with a boy, quote unquote, center toy. What is that doing for the world of sports, the world of women's sports? Thoughts?
I think it's huge. I mean, I think it's huge whenever you increase visibility of any sport, specifically women's sports in general. I mean, I feel like it's been a problem for a while that it like you can have the whole argument about the pay stuff, about the like fair treatment, about like the maternity type things.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, I mean, the biggest part of it is like branding and how you're showing people like, hey, that can be me too. Hey, that can be something that I want. And so to have a major well, we have some music in the
We
background.
have beautiful music
Yeah.
in the background.
But to have like a major athlete in the WNBA world kind of collab in this way, both with two major brands, with Nike and with
Yeah.
Lego, I think that's important. And I mean, I'm not gonna say like a Lego is gonna be the difference between someone wanting to be a professional basketball player or not, but
Yeah.
it might. I don't know. So I think that is huge. I think anytime whether it's Unrivaled or the WNBA is mentioned, it's good for the sport of basketball in general. Like for example, today at the Cubs game, Candace Parker threw out the first pitch, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think like just things like that, whether it be with like certain brand deals or just public appearances in general, I think anything to up the brand is a good thing. And
just
so,
visibility.
yeah,
I
for
get
sure.
that.
I was kind of happy that we were talking about this because I kid you not, station member Wyatt Aldler copped this exact Lego set the Friday that it dropped.
Really? Are you
He's
serious?
a
Yes.
huge Lego guy.
He
Wow.
copped it the Friday that it dropped. We were in class and he showed me on his laptop that he like what Lego set that he got.
Oh,
I
is
was
it
like a
"That's
pre-order?"
So sick. Yeah, like
Okay,
Yeah,
I
there
was
we
like, I
go.
thought it was supposed to hit
Well, I mean,
like July 1st.
Wyatt's both a Nike fiend and a Lego fiend.
He's
So
the
this
then
is
it's
like
perfect.
his like
and a
He's
basketball
such a
fiend.
fiend.
So there you go.
So yeah,
There you go.
3-in-1.
Yeah.
And that's like that's the cool part of it because everybody like us as kids like I don't know about you, bro, but like I used to love Legos. Like I used to
of
love
course.
like building Legos.
Had to
like,
leave them all behind.
in kindergarten, just
The
like putting
dragon set,
random bricks of
Friends.
Legos together was just like my entire childhood. So like bringing that, fusing it with basketball, something that like I used to love as a kid, like just helps spread the WNBA name
Yeah.
more because when I was 6 years old, I didn't know what the WNBA was like. So being able to spread names like Asia Wilson and in the future like Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, like that'll be huge for like the game of basketball in general, not just the WNBA, but names that aren't as sung in our modern society.
Shout out the Angel Reese McDonald's meal.
Yes!
Shout that out, bro. Shout that out.
No, I talked
Listen,
about this on
yo,
HerTake
you
like
should-
months ago.
Yeah,
I
no,
love
no,
that.
no.
You were there.
It was a good meal. And
It was like the act. It was like a question about like who would you want to be like see as an actress, and I said Angel Reese is already doing great with her commercial.
Yeah.
For her McDonald's meal.
yeah.
Because like brand deals, they don't just like not brand deals, but like
Yeah.
collabs, like they don't just increase like profits for both companies, but they also just increase visibility. And I feel like if like a little boy or a little girl goes and sees it, like even if it's not going to grow up to like play in the
Mhm.
W or even the NBA, like it's still maybe watching that sport and maybe following that player from then on out. So
Yeah.
I think it's like, I don't know. I think it's really cool. Plus it's a cool set. It like you could take it like the back of the shoe
Yeah,
off
it's
and
like
you could put
3
the little
things.
basketball player in it.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool.
I think also the cool thing is like this could have easily been a set with like I don't know like I'm not like other Nike athletes or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
other
yeah.
like someone in the NBA like someone like a Russell Westbrook or something. And I
Mhm.
think the fact that they chose to do it with who they did, I think that's also important. I mean, I'm not going to say that they were making decisions like, oh, we're not going to do you and we're only going to like
Right.
that's probably not how the decision was made. But at the same time, it's like that's also big because it means that like they care
Mhm.
and they want to increase that visibility, which I think is a cool thing.
Yeah, they could have easily done like guys that are popular now, like Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, like
Ja Morant.
the SGAs
Yeah.
of the world. You know what I mean? Instead, we're getting Asia Wilson, which is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
I also think it's important to note the fact that like we're talking about how this is like important for like little girls, little boys.
Mm.
I feel like when we're trying to like when equality in these two leagues is like obviously the end goal, it's obviously going to be very very hard to push like the names that are like running the NBA, running the W to create these like rules that are going to make like certain things equal.
Mm.
Because it's like it's hard to convince a 70-year-old man that the things he's been raised on is like wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times if you want
Questionable young
yeah, if
minds,
you
like-
if you want to actually see change, sometimes you just have to realize, okay, now we probably can't see what we need to see happen because it's too much, it's too hard. But how can you do that? You can like mold and like you know what the young minds.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to also additional question. Ultimate collab / crossover pairing. Pick your female athlete, your brand, and like your message, your goal. Thoughts?
Wow. It's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I'll go first because I had a really good one.
Okay,
and I
go.
kind of I don't know if it's really good. Okay, athlete Serena Williams. Yes, obviously very popular, but you'll see why in a second. Brand Rolex. It's gonna be a watch, okay?
Okay.
Rolex classic
pretty like high end, precision driven, symbolic of excellence, you know. Serena Williams, symbolic of excellence. She's amazing. Message, timeless greatness. The watch, time, greatness.
I get that.
Serena Williams, great. Yeah, so that was mine.
Okay.
It was as great as you thought.
Off the top of my head, this isn't necessarily a brand or message, but Serena's sister Venus.
Ooh.
I think have her do like Space Jam 3.
Mm,
Something like
yes.
like it doesn't have to be basketball.
But it has to be
It doesn't have to.
good. No, I'm saying like if it's Space Jam 3, it has to be well animated.
Oh yeah, it can't be like Space Jam.
Cannot flop like Space Jam.
Yeah.
2.
Bad. And we saw the first one.
The first one's one of the best movies of all time. So
Space
Okay.
Jam.
with MJ. But either way, I think that'd be cool. The name fits. That's already like a
Yeah.
pairing that works.
Mhm.
So I think that'd be
Yes.
fun.
Wait.
Was there a pairing with like Reese's Puffs? There was a Reese's Puffs one, right?
I think so.
It was
Angel
Angel
Reese's.
Okay, is Reese's Puffs different from Cocoa Puffs?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Reese's
Cocoa
are
Puffs.
Reese's.
Well,
Cocoa
I think the
Puffs,
puffs
that's
are
what
like
I
the.
want.
Oh.
I know.
You
guys.
said it's a
That's
little
how-
Cocoa Golf, Cocoa Puffs.
What's
Get your
the message?
cocoa on. Like go Coco Loco for. Yes, thanks. Thanks, you guys. That's all I had to say.
Matt, what's yours? Are you gonna follow that up with
Okay.
grapes or what?
Nah, mine is goofy.
Stop.
Mine is goofy.
No, half.
I
character?
Okay. No, like goofy in general.
Oh my.
So
You meant that?
I thought we were talking about the character.
I
That's
went
I'm so sorry.
I went okay, so I went with Kaylee Abasado.
Okay.
The brand is gonna be Insomnia Cookies.
Okay.
And the message is greatness never sleeps.
Oh. Wait, what kind of cookie would she have though? I know you didn't think
I
of that, but
deep into it.
off the dome.
Off the dome.
Interesting. I
Hmm.
like the slogan though.
No, yeah.
Greatness never sleeps.
I think that's like I think she's like a confetti deluxe type of
Okay.
person.
Isn't that already a cookie?
No, it's okay. We'll just give it a
Yeah.
We'll just slap her name on it and say it's new.
Oh,
Maybe it could be
like a new oh my god.
avocado flavor.
Avocado.
Kaylee avocado. Okay, so I lied. That's not good. Guys, I was just trying
Yeah, we want to.
It was a good try.
Sorry.
to. She's turning against me.
Sorry.
Thank goodness it's the last show for 3 months.
Oh my
I'm just kidding.
God.
I'm actually really sad.
Yeah, it is a moment. Do you think we have time for one more segment?
Maybe. We could
Just go for
we
it.
could speed
Go for
run
it.
it.
That's
We
up
could
to
speed
the
run it.
sports
Go for
boys
it.
coast right here.
Okay. Well, okay. So we're gonna be talking about Coco Gauff and the Night Spot, which I think Chelsea did a great job naming that.
Go Coco Loco.
Is that why? Okay.
Yeah,
So she was on
my
my
head. Yeah,
head.
she was on my head.
Okay, I didn't make that connection.
She's gonna be hammering that for the next like 3 months.
You know what? I'm okay with it.
Thank you.
We'll bring it up first show back. Anyways, we're wasting time. Roland Garros, he's the organizer of the French Open. He's been facing criticism for the Open's preference to having men's singles matches in their evening slots, which is kind of like prime time to watch tennis. Since the night sessions were introduced in 2022 with increased viewership, just 2 of the 34 matches have featured women's singles. Ooh, maybe not the greatest. Coco Gauff came forward to agree with Jobber's statement, and Jobbers was the first to speak out about this. That not only should women's match be one of the 2, but should also be like the first. And as an opportunity to increase viewership and showcase their talents because it's rightfully deserved. So what do you guys think it says about us as fans, as a culture, that even in a sport where women are literal global stars, their matches still get pushed out of the spotlight?
Do you want to
Besides
try
the
to
fact
tackle
it's
that
sad.
first?
Sure. I mean, I think obviously it's bad that is kind of the case, like in general. But I also think it's not too late to change it. I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest part of it. Is like, yes, whether it be historically, whether it be now, there are definitely opportunities to increase. Like we've been talking about visibility throughout the show, and it's kind of like I think that's a big thing, and that's something that's real. Where it even whatever, like if if whatever athletes have like certain sponsorships or whatever on the men's side that require them to be on these certain slots, sure. There's also 7 days a week. There's also 7 nights a week. Like there's no way you can tell me that you can't have like 2 out of 34 is ridiculous. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that it has. I get like the formats are different. Women's matches are shorter than men's matches in terms of the sets, sure. But at the end of the day, then okay, then you could have maybe 2 women's matches in a night slot. If you're saying that the time is a problem, like I find it hard to believe that it like you couldn't just have like a little bit more. I'm not saying at the start it would be an even split just because whatever, this is just how like the corporate world thinks. But I feel like, in terms of increasing visibility, I think Coco's right to come forward and say like, hey, listen, like I'm one of the biggest stars in women's tennis, in tennis in general. And I think that rightfully so that she should feel this way. And I think that I wouldn't, if it's not at Roland Garros, I wouldn't be surprised if one of the majors starts to kind of consider that as more of an option, which I think some of them have, and kind of just increasing that kind of prime time women's spotlight, I guess.
I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's kind of, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like a society that's just stuck in their ways, stuck in their vices. That it's been the case for what, like 100 some odd years now in the world of sports, and it's like it's a problem. But the question is like, is the problem within the world of sport, or is the problem within our society and how we structure it? And yes, like on a from a global perspective, there is some change, but we have to ask ourselves like, is this a sport specific problem, or is it just like a societal identity problem in terms of like,
No, yes,
you know
yes, yes.
like
No.
it's like, because the root of the problem is just much deeper than that. Because if you want to sit here and tell me that out of 34 matches, out of 34 time slots, only 2 can go to women, and you want to sit here and tell me that that's fair, and you as a society, you're sane, like you're not, like you're lying to yourselves if you're trying to tell me that as a society you're truly working towards equality. I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that really answers your question, but I guess
No, it
that's my
doesn't.
No, it
take on
does.
it.
I think the other thing is like, I don't even, maybe this is also a thing. It's almost like quality over quantity, almost, where it's like, why even have 34 nighttime matches in the first place? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
like
Yeah.
part of the disparity is probably like, okay, like I get there's the whatever, the pinnacle of men's tennis is great or whatever, but probably some of these nighttime matches, no offense, I'm not trying to like call anyone out, but like are probably for people who are like lower ranked, and people probably wouldn't, I don't know, I'm not trying to say like they wouldn't be watching,
No,
but like,
it's a good point.
but it's like, I don't know. I feel like the other part of this is one way where you can make it more fair is, okay, let's say it's realistic to have from 2 to 10 or something. Okay, then just have 20 total night matches, and then there you go, you're halved. That's probably easier or more plausible than trying to half that 34 number. And so I think that like obviously this is just kind of in terms of just like how many there are and maybe not how many in this specific tournament. But I think part of the way you can do that and make it more fair is almost making it more exclusive, where maybe you're just having your best players and your best matches a night for maybe only 1 or 2. I don't know. That's another way to think about it.
Well, and I mean, to be fair, like I don't even really follow tennis, but I feel like I know way more like women's tennis players than like I don't
Yeah.
think I can name one male tennis player, and I don't like I said, I don't follow
Yeah,
tennis,
yeah. No, I
but
agree.
like
I
but I
agree.
can name at least like 4 women tennis players, you know. So I don't know.
I also think that's because of the fact that um women's tennis players in general, I feel like have been doing a lot of speaking out.
Yeah,
Um like a
which
lot.
is
Now that I'm
great.
thinking about it, I've been hearing Coco's name a lot in the news, especially speaking to like the line judges. Like we're just kind of in an era, especially in tennis, where what Pearson was saying, there are 7 days in a week, there are 7 nights in a week. There's time for us to be making these changes, but for some reason we're not. And I think that a lot of these athletes are starting to realize that I don't have to keep playing these games and just like at the end of the match I put my racket away and I move on. Like these are changes that I can actually make if I start actually saying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I I think that was a beautiful note to end off on. And it's really sad cuz
Yeah. The last her take
Wow.
for the quarter.
Yep.
That's the key
Well,
word for the
yeah,
quarter.
the quarter.
For the
We will
quarter.
be
The quarter.
back in
2
the
more
fall.
quarters. 10 years nowhere near over.
Oh no, we'll be back for more, and it'll be great. But thank you so much for joining us today, despite the technical difficulties, which was very funny. I
think they added.
I think that was the best. But yeah, we will have Sports Voice right after this for more Sports Block. But Chelsea and I are signing out, and we'll see you in the fall. So thank you